All right, let's go. What is up, guys? Welcome to NYLFTV. I am Kenny Saintville, and I'm here with my guy, Gabe Zoda. Let's get it. The New York Liberty win 85-66 and defeat the Chicago Sky in front of 16,081 fans in attendance, and one of the biggest roars came for Coco Gauff, who was in attendance. A lot of celebrities in the house. Gabe, talk to us. Tell us what you saw from tonight's game.
Yeah, the stars were out, right? You had Coco Gauff, Lisa Leslie was on, Elliot Page. Everyone seemed to be here, and obviously on the ESPN broadcast as well. And what a great showing for the New York Liberty. You have Nyara Sabli getting her first WNBA start ever, and she scored the first 5 out of the team's first 7 points. She was immediately an impact on the offensive end, rolling in. And one of the questions that I think Jackie asked postgame was that 5-out spacing now, how has that helped? And we're seeing that she's able to get to the rim, able to get more of those contact finishes. I think she had like 2 and ones in the game. So we saw that effect. Obviously, Sabrina Ionescu, the star of the game, right? Player of the game, I guess you could say, 23 points, 7 assists, 4 steals in the game, doing literally everything.
Yeah, she tied her career high with those 4 steals. She also added 2 blocks to that. She was a team high plus 30 on the floor. And obviously, keep going. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's great. I mean, Stewie as well, 18 points. So everyone played their part. Kennedy Burke has been the best shooter kind of all time that we're saying. I just did a little bit of a stat check after the game. Yeah. She set a WNBA record, the biggest or most percentage points, highest 3-point percentage through the first 9 games of a season is Kennedy Burke at 63%.
63%.
I think second place was Edna Campbell, 2001 for the Sacramento Monarchs. It was like 59%. So it's crazy to even see these type of numbers from Kennedy Burke. And I mean, you were talking to her all preseason, all training camp, and the fact that she even had a training camp is a big reason why she's able to be on this spot.
Absolutely, and that was one of the big things that she did. She came in early. She was working on that 3-ball a lot, but her last game she tied her career high with 4 threes. She shot 4 of 4. Right now, Kennedy Burke is 7 of 7 from the 3-point arc in her last 2 games against the Chicago Sky. She had 15 points tonight, and I can't rave enough about what Kennedy Burke has been doing, the consistency that she's been providing off the bench. And obviously ESPN did drop that way too early season prediction with Kennedy Burke as the current 6th player of the year. And I would have to 100% agree with that. And just following back up with Nyara Sabali, what do you think it says about a coach to kind of have that kind of trust in you, especially she hasn't played, and for her to get her first start after coming back off of injury, and the first play was pretty she scores the first 2 buckets. So talk about having that kind of confidence in your player who hasn't played.
It's what makes Sandy Brondella one of, if not the best coach in the entire WNBA. The amount that she pours into her players, the amount of confidence that kind of the whole coaching staff pours into their own players. It's just, hey, we trust you to do it. We want you to do. Just go out there. Just have fun. There's no real pressure of, you have to be this, you have to be that. It's more of a, hey, this is the system we have you in. This is your role because this is what's good for you. This is what you're used to doing. Just go out there and do it. Yeah. And even on that first play, right, she was sitting at the 3-point line. Then she cuts in, gets that pass, able to roll to the basket and get that bucket in. So it's just her finding her spots, and that's something that Nyara Sabli's always been good at, is knowing when to get her lanes, knowing anything, how to be that complementary piece, and it's exactly what she did tonight with those 9 points.
Where do you think the Liberty won this game in such dominant fashion? Because they were out-rebounded 37-29. I mean, I do want to speak about Angel Reese a little bit. Yeah. Angel Reese had a really good start to this game, especially in the first half. She shot 6 of 7 from the field. She almost flirted with a triple-double, but she finished this game with 17 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. But the Liberty were still able to kind of contain that and make sure that they were in this game. They were not in this game at all. So where do you think the Liberty won after being out-rebounded 37-29?
Yeah, I think a couple spots immediately. You look at the turnovers, 22-11. I think it was at one point like 12-0, the turnover disparity. So that was a big thing from the jump. Just Chicago had even Angel Reese, a couple of those turnovers she had back-to-back travels in this game. And, especially the front of the game. right? I think that's the second part that really was the reason why the Liberty won this game. Is Liberty got out to such a great start. I mean, Jeff, our guy, had a great stat that the Liberty are outscoring their opponents in the first half by 85 points.
85 points.
And so they're getting off to those good starts. And when you're able to get off to a start like tonight, 12-0 to start the game, from that point on, you could have an even for the rest of the game. You're still winning by 12 points that night. So that's how important getting off to a good start is. And you combine that with forcing a lot of these turnovers, some sloppy play from the Chicago Sky, and you're going to have a dominant win like this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And just speaking of those turnovers, the two best players on Chicago right now, Angel Reese and Ariel Atkins, they combined for 10 turnovers, both of them having 5 respectively. So I think that was definitely a big part of, kind of containing their stars. And obviously, they're down a star. They're down a legend in Courtney Vandersloot. Unfortunately, if you guys haven't heard, Courtney Vandersloot is out this season with a torn ACL. She was obviously not in attendance to receive her ring. But we spoke a little bit to Coach about that earlier in the presser. What was her coach's thoughts on that, Sloot not being here to receive her ring?
Yeah, I mean, it's super unfortunate, right? Coach was talking about how excited the team was coming into this game just to be able to not only see Sloot, but able to see her with her deserved ring. And obviously she didn't make the trip, so she wasn't able to receive that ring. But, it's always just always amazing compliments about Courtney Vandersloot of how great of a person she is, how good of a leader she is, was, and will continue to be for this younger Chicago Sky team, even if it's from more of a bench role now, and just how important that is. And then she also talked with Courtney Vandersloot about how much of a difference is now playing without her, those adjustments now without Vandersloot, and how that kind of changes everything. It resets everything. And for a team that's already struggling, now down 2-6 on the season, you wanted to have that stability, one vet that you can go to and say, hey, this is someone we know to can control the offense. Now you don't have that. So now Tyler Marsh, a new head coach, you don't really have that vet to really lean on to control things. And that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for the Sky team without Sloot.
Definitely sending our thoughts to Sloot and her family right now as she goes through this. But the perfect transition for me was, back to Sabrina Ionescu, because our guy Jeff, bringing him back up, he asked the question about Allie Quigley, and Sabrina did mention about, how to play with Courtney Vandersloot and screening guards. And I want to get to our screening guard, Natasha Cloud. Natasha Cloud, she finished the game with 5 points only. She shot 2 for 8 from the field. She was a plus 14 from the floor. She had 2 steals, 1 block. What did you see from Natasha tonight? It wasn't, the greatest game, but just speaking about those screening guards, having somebody on that floor to be able to get Sabrina to her spots, who was really controlling the ball today. She had the ball a lot in her hands today and created for the team. Let's just speak about what you saw from Natasha today.
Yeah, and she's always going to be great as a complimentary piece. She also had 2 steals, a block today as well, so always an impact on the defensive end for Natasha Cloud. But you talk about just her presence as a screener. Not only do you have her screening for Sabrina, getting her open for some threes, but talk about the actions now you have now with this 5-out offense. You have a situation where, let's just pretend here, you just have those 3 with Stewie, Sab, and Cloud, right? Yeah. Let's say Cloud screens for Sabrina. Sabrina gets open, or now 2 people have to help and come down, and all of a sudden, Brandon Stewart's wide open for a backdoor cut. How many times have we seen that? We saw it twice in this game where beautifully these backdoor cut passes from Sabrina to Stewie, and it's just free buckets. So there's so many options, even when Natasha Cloud's shooting, 2 for 8 tonight, did not have her 3 ball. She's been struggling from 3 after a hot start this season, kind of regressing back down to her mean. But she's still staying effective, still being a plus 14 player on the floor.
Yeah, and perfect segue, because we have to speak about the MVP, Breanna Stewart. Breanna Stewart, she had a hot start to this game. She had 9 points in that first quarter. But some of those actions, especially those slip actions, she really that turnaround jumper was deadly. It was deadly in that first quarter. Let's talk about Stewie's game today. Again, 18 points, also a plus 14 on the field. She had 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block.
Yeah, I mean, she said screw shooting threes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she shot a couple towards the end of the game, ended up 0 for 2 from 3, but that doesn't matter. The first 3 quarters, she said, screw shooting threes. I'm going to go downhill, get to the basket, get an end one. Then I'm going to start hitting my mid-range shots, right? That's what we've seen from Brianna Stewart this year. She's been some of the most efficient she's ever been. We're shouting out everybody today, but Miles had a great stat a couple of days ago about just the numbers, the pure numbers of just her shooting from the 2-point land, whether it's mid-range, getting to the basket. And really what Sabrina told us after the game about that, because Miles asked her about it, was just that she's not trying to do this. Maybe she's less wanting to shoot threes, more stay in the mid-range, but she's just taking what the defense gives her. She's so good at just playing within the offense and not trying to do too much, and just knowing that she is one big cog of this big giant machine that's running pretty perfectly right now. But she's just doing what she has to, and when she's just playing that way, just reading, reacting, that's when Brianna Stewart's at her best, and we saw it tonight on the offensive end.
Oh, 100%. I think one of another takeaway that I kind of wanted to bring up is that the New York Liberty are just the best team in the league right now. There's nothing else for me to really kind of say. But all jokes aside, it was a great game for the Liberty. They did what they had to do. They didn't shoot the 3 ball well, but also there's other things that they rely on that they do very, very well. But before we close this out, I just do want to speak about the bench mob. Outside of Kennedy Burke, obviously Kennedy Burke was the player of the game off the bench, but we did have some production off the bench. Rebecca Gardner got some minutes. Izzy got some minutes. Marine got some minutes. What did you see from this bench mob? And how far can this bench mob kind of go? Like, how much better are they getting throughout these games?
Well, I mean, it's going to be much better when JJ eventually comes back and you have Niara Sabli sliding back in as that bench big. It just makes it that much more dynamic, that much better on the bench when you have someone like Kennedy Burke who's just dominating from outside, and you have someone like Niara Sabli who can kind of do it both. We haven't seen her shoot, but she can shoot. We know that she could shoot, getting downhill as well. So, I mean, this bench mob is super fun, and obviously when Marine is doing Marine things, it's a spectacle to see. We both love what Beck Gardner has done, just being more of that hustle player. I mean, she's guarding players close to half court, full court at times, just being an energy defender as well, and knocking down a couple threes every time that she's open. She's always a semi-reliable, reliable 3-point shooter. So
she definitely is.
We love what Beck Gardner's doing. I think she's at her best when she's kind of working in transition, getting downhill. But just even in that half-court offense, she's open from 3. She's going to take it, and she's also a pretty good defender as well. So I love the bench. Last year, I remember a lot of the conversation was, does this team have the depth to win a championship? And we saw that they obviously did. Now I feel like their depth is even better.
It is.
So I'm super excited for this.
Oh, yeah, super excited. And the team hasn't played their best basketball. They haven't played their best basketball yet, but you really want them to start playing their best basketball in about September, definitely in October. So you have anything else you want to say before we close this out?
Nah, nothing else specifically. I think that one of the biggest things coming into tonight's game was dealing with the physicality down low without JJ. And we didn't see it in the rebounding numbers, but we saw it just in the game where some of the rebound, we saw some trying to gang rebound, try to take that physicality away. We didn't allow the Angel Reese and Cardoso to get the ball too close to the basket. So just meeting that physicality up front. And if you remember all the way back to that preseason game against Connecticut where they lost, physicality, they got punched first and they didn't really respond. So I think today they've shown that they've grown much from that time, and they've gotten up. They've been the more physical team at these games, and it's proven to these wins against these teams, even when you're not shooting well, right, from 3, that you're able to still come out there and take a dub home.
And to add to that, you can just see in that points in the paint, they outscored the Sky 40-38 points in the paint. Obviously, the Sky will win the second chance points matchup, having Camilla and Angel Reese. But I still think they did a good job of kind of being able to close out and make sure that they weren't able to really score as much off of those second chance opportunities. They only scored 13 second chance points. They had 11 chances to get a lot more than that. But also the fast break points, 15 fast break points versus Chicago's 10. I think that's also huge. There was the biggest lead for the Liberty was 34 points. A wire-to-wire victory, just playing outstanding basketball. Even despite the New York Liberty being atop, I know that Sandy Brondello and Cole will still find things that they need to work on. It's kind of been like a story throughout this season. Like, they've played so well, and throughout each game, Sandy Brondello kind of finds something like, no, this is what we can work on. This is what we need to. So
yeah, you see
I know
a couple tweets on Twitter are always hilarious after big wins. It's like, we won by 30. Still not good enough. We won by 40. Still not good enough. And that's really, it's real. It's how this team does it. And it's a reason why, early a lot of predictors now are saying, hey, they're probably going to go back to back. And it's not just because of how they're playing, but it's more about their mindsets. Like, they don't care that they're 9-0. They don't care if they go 44-0, because once the playoffs start, you could lose in the first round. It doesn't matter what you did. So
exactly.
They understand they're process driven, and that's what I love mostly about this team.
Yeah, and they definitely can. And like I say, my New York Knicks can learn a lot from this organization. And that's all we have to say. The New York Liberty, again, 9-0 start, best start in franchise history. Next game is on Saturday against the Indiana Fever. I'm not sure. We probably will get Caitlin Clark back around that time, maybe?
Depends what they do.
Okay.
If the Fever want to hold her back, maybe not want to play her, we'll see what happens.
Okay, we'll see what happens for that. But next game is on Saturday. This is my guy, Gabe Zoda. I am Kenny St. Ville. This is NYLFTV. Thanks for watching. My guy, as always.